SuperTalk Mississippi media production.
You're listening to Sports Talk Mississippi On Demand, presented by Pearl River Resort. Escape to Choctaw, Mississippi and enjoy world-class gaming, the Dancing Rabbit Golf Club, and Geyser Falls Water Park. Escape to Pearl River Resort.
Sports Talk Mississippi is on the air. Sports Talk Mississippi is powered by C-Spire. Power your home or business with C-Spire Fiber. To learn more, visit supertalk.fm/C-Spire. C-Spire Fiber powers SuperTalk Mississippi. To the junction, in the grove, and to the top. This is Sports Talk Mississippi. On your radio and in the game, right here on Super Talk Mississippi.
Welcome in on this Thunder and Lightning Wednesday. Everybody jacked up for the 6 o'clock hour featuring Brian Hadad. So glad that you guys are with us. No, joking aside, it is a Thunder and Lightning Wednesday, but it's also a baseball Wednesday. We are going to recap the dominating win that Southern Miss had over Alabama last night. It is not surprising that Southern Miss beat Alabama. That's not surprising. Run ruling, anybody run ruling Alabama is surprising. Southern Miss did just that last night. Two grand salamis in that game as well. We'll talk about that because the games took forever. We didn't get to talk about Ole Miss and State winning last night because the games weren't over when the show was over. So we'll do that as well. We'll visit with Mark Etheridge of D1 Baseball, who was in Hattiesburg last night, coming up at 3:37. I will deliver some impassioned opinions about some discourse around the basketball programs in the state of Mississippi today. Two separate push notifications from ESPN talking about you and it's unacceptable, lazy, or whatever adjective you want to use. Just wrong. We'll do that. We'll get to a college football fix and more with you. So glad that you guys are with us. Let's get into it.
Not just 3 wins for the state of Mississippi yesterday, 3 run rule wins.
All of
Everybody run ruled. State, Ole Miss, Mississippi, Southern Mississippi. I mean, it's just, we're off to a heck of a start for baseball here. And you can be off to a heck of a start on your weekend if you book now at PearlRiverResort.com. Pearl River Resort, the place to have whatever time you want to have this weekend. You want to play golf, you want to place a wager, you want to eat a great meal or see great live entertainment. It's all right there for you at Pearl River Resort. C-Spire text line is open to you at 601-879-4395. The best teams know how to get even better. That's why C-Spire constantly enhances their wireless, fiber internet, and business solutions for you. Visit cspire.com today. C-Spire, inspired by you. Michael Borkey, I've just been handed this news at the desk. We go now live to our correspondent, Michael Borkey, who knows what this news is.
Oh, it's Southern Miss is legit. That's the news. That's how we're starting the show today. We already knew that. We knew that. And it's a midweek game. Weird things happen in the midweek. Last night in Hattiesburg, that's not weird. That's not Arkansas State beating Arkansas. That's weird. That's not McNeese beating LSU. That's weird. This is just an example, another one, that this Southern Miss team is legit. 14-4 the final score. They walked them off. I don't like calling run rule walk-offs. Like that Ole Miss walks off SEMO. No, they didn't. They won by 10. It's not a walk-off. You didn't walk off Alabama. You kicked their rear end so bad that the game ended before it was supposed to. Yeah. You didn't walk them off. A walk-off is a close win.
A walk-off has to happen in the 9th inning or extras.
Yes.
It cannot happen in the 7th inning.
This is just a butt kicking is what it is.
You got run ruled. That's what just happened.
14 runs on 13 hits for Southern Miss, and they did a bullpen day. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 Golden Eagles pitched last night, and only one of them saw more than one complete inning. And Hadad, he saw 1 2/3. That was Sundstrom. So Southern Miss did a bullpen night and only gave up 4 hits to Alabama. Alabama going into it was 7-1. They were ranked going into that game where the Crimson Tide, and Southern Miss just absolutely kicked their butt. You had 2 grand slams from Kyle Morrison and Ben Higdon. So Higdon obviously had 4 RBI, added another hit as well. He was 2 for 5 last night. Urban had a hit. Russo had a hit. Gillespie had 4 for good measure. You had 2 from Morrison. Again, one of them, the grand slam in there as well. Smith at short had 3 hits last night. 13 hits, 14 runs, 2 grand slams, dominating night on the mound for Southern Miss. And, I mean, I was about to say great momentum going into a weekend, which will be, that's a big series with Louisiana Tech. That's a good team as well. But you don't get momentum from this win after you've had the series that they've had going into this win. Yeah. They just are carrying.
They're just maintaining
said momentum.
Yes. I mean, I said it yesterday when we were talking to Jacob Rudner. Outside of UCLA, who took a loss last night, let's point that out. Number 1 team in the nation picked up their 2nd loss of the season. 4 of the top 6 lost last night. Incredibly. But who's done more for their May resume than Southern Mississippi has, with taking 2 out of 3 from what appears to be a good Santa Barbara team, sweeping that tournament at Round Rock.
And the one guy that beat them is going to be a first-round pick.
Could be the first pick of the draft. Could be that guy. And then, beating Oregon State, who year in, year out is a really good program. Now you manhandle Alabama. Now you've got a game, series coming up this weekend with Louisiana Tech. That's a program that has had some NCAA tournament success. We are on a collision course for next Tuesday and a top 10 matchup between Mississippi State and Southern Mississippi. I know Jacob told us yesterday that he has the Golden Eagles a little lower in his poll, but they are 12th in the D1 poll. And if they have a good weekend, if they're 2-1 or they continue to win, they're 3-0, and Mississippi State handles its business in Arlington, yes, you're going to see, you could potentially see, if everything goes right, number 1 Mississippi State at number 8 or 9 or 7, 8, 9, Southern Mississippi. It just depends on how these games play out, but the opportunity is there for us to have one of the highest ranking games between those two schools maybe ever. It's got to be.
Yeah, we got to reach out to one of the SIDs and find out if there was one that was
I can't imagine that both schools that have ever been in the top 10 at the same time playing each other. I would be very surprised by that.
Yeah, there's a very good chance. I mean, for obviously midweek games here in Mississippi, and I mean LSU did not have a good crowd last night, but there are places that still get okay crowds for midweek games, but none of them draw well. Midweek games don't draw well because it's Tuesday, and it's usually a nondescript opponent. That environment in Hattiesburg next Tuesday night for a one-game series baseball game is going to be nuts.
It really is. I mean, talking about bringing, I said, State at worst is going to be where they are, I would think, right? Unless they somehow go 0-3 this weekend, which I wouldn't predict.
I would not predict that either.
The way they're playing right now. So you're talking about a top 5 team, and Southern Mississippi should be a top 10 team. I mean, it's going to be a madhouse. State coming off of a game with UCLA where they'll be playing the number 1 team in the nation, and then travel 48 hours to a as hostile as an environment they're going to play in this year. I mean, I can't wait to see what happens. That should be a tremendous baseball game.
Yeah. So absolutely. I mean, calling it a huge win for one game, it'd be better if it was a 3-game series, of course, but you mentioned it. The Sun Belt does not provide the same resume-building opportunities that the SEC does. I mean, right. Just an objective fact, right?
Right.
So when you get the opportunity and you capitalize so greatly on said opportunity, mm-hmm. This is where Southern Miss needs to do most of their building for their postseason resume. It needs to happen now.
Alabama, run, rule, win. You have Mississippi State next week. I believe they have Ole Miss the week after that.
That is correct.
So a chance to get some really big wins. And some news today out of the Sun Belt that, I mean, Southern Mississippi fans, you hate to hear it, but You see today that Coastal Carolina, their Friday and Saturday starters suffered injuries, and they are going to be out for, they said, possibly up to 8 weeks. I mean, this is a chance for Southern Mississippi to really, really get out in front and put their claws into the Sun Belt Championship. Now, that probably means that when those guys get healthy, Coastal's going to probably end up being a 2 seed in somebody's regional that nobody wants to play.
Gross.
But Southern Mississippi.
Congratulations, Clemson, for that one.
Yeah, Southern Mississippi has a real opportunity here to lock. I mean, they could be a team that we're talking about as a almost lock to host by the time we get to mid-March if things go well for them.
Without a doubt. So that was the big win last night. We will look at the final, because we were reacting to the games throughout, for Mississippi State and for Ole Miss. And then things got weird in the midweek last night. Hadad made reference to it. A lot of big losers in midweek baseball last night. We'll look at those as well as we continue. So glad that you guys are here. Text us on the C Spire text line 601-879-4395. C Spire reminds you not to text and drive. Use your voice text feature. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. Just be a part of the show. Do it safely on this Wednesday. We'll keep talking baseball when we come back.
From the Sports Talk Mississippi continues.
Mississippi State run ruled last night. Hey, Dad, is there anything that we can take away from that other than that's what happened?
Well, what I've noticed is this, and it's 3 games, right? It's just 3 games, but in the midweek this year, Mississippi State has scored 13, 19, and 16 runs. Now, midweek games have been a problem for State the past 4 years. You look back at 22 and 23, the season was basically over when conference play began. And I really thought that was going to be the way in 24. They found a way to overcome 6 early losses to be a really good team in SEC play, and that's what got them into the postseason. Last year, they were actually pretty good in the early going. It was conference play that got them. But midweek games have been an issue for this team. And even then, they haven't just dominated these teams like this. Troy is a team that will probably end up in the NCAA tournament, or at least close to it. Austin Peay was the favorite to win their conference. And State manhandled both of these teams. Alcorn is Alcorn. You expect to win that game big. But let me do some quick math. 32 plus 16 that's 48 runs in 3 midweek games. That's pretty good.
Yeah, you'll take that.
Yeah, I will absolutely take that.
More of the same for Ole Miss. Look, it's a midweek game, but you dominated. You took care of business. You get out of there early. Did exactly what you needed to do. Moving forward, I do think, because you have more difficult midweek games coming up, I don't know how good Memphis is, but generally speaking, Memphis is somebody that you can't just, roll over and play dead and still beat. You've got Southern Miss obviously coming up twice in the midweek this season. I think that Owen Kelly's the guy that needs to start those games as opposed to Hayes. I know it's just one start, but from this vantage point, watching this from ability stuff, etc., I don't think you're going to have great success against the aforementioned Southern Miss in your 2 midweek games, if that's what you're rolling out there. Again, one start, not totally fair, a lot of growth that can be done, but I do think Kelly's the better option there. But other than that, yes, you took care of business, you scored 13 runs, you get out of there early. Furness finally gets on the board with the big fly. He'll do more of those this season, but he finally got one, and yeah, it's midweek baseball. When you win like that, it's exactly what you should do, especially when you look around and see what everybody else did last night.
Yeah, and that's something I guess we need to talk about, because if you look at the D1 baseball, let me pull up their top 25. So, because I want to make sure I've got everything correct here. I know for a fact, though, that number 1 UCLA lost last night to San Diego State in a game where the Bruins were held to 3 hits. And
they had 2 errors, too.
Yeah. LSU, my internet is messing up here, Borkey. I'll just go ahead and let you know.
So LSU's number 2.
Yeah.
They lost to McNeese last night. When did they drop the state, by the way? They're just McNeese now.
I'm not sure.
And Nichols dropped the state, too. They're just Nichols now. But yeah,
well, I'm a fan of that, though. You shouldn't be a state if you're not a state.
But it's, state university.
I'm just saying.
But yes, LSU loses to McNeese last night, 7-6. Georgia Tech, ranked number 5, lost to Georgia State. And Arkansas State beat Arkansas, who's number 6, 12-4.
That's a pretty rough day.
Yeah.
when you consider everything that's going on. I mean, it's just a brutal, brutal day around college baseball. Texas and Mississippi State, the only 2 top 6 teams to survive the day.
Florida gave up. They won the game, but they gave up 11 runs and 16 hits to FIU last night.
Yeah, just they were on the precipice of a bad loss. I don't know if it was a bad loss, but a loss that you don't want to take. UCLA's already lost twice. It's kind of interesting that they're where they are, considering the amount of talent on that team. And makes you, I'll just say this. The 2 teams playing the best baseball going into this tournament this weekend for State is State and Arizona State. Arizona State, there's another upset there. They run-ruled Oklahoma, who was maybe the hottest team in the country coming into that game. And they absolutely dominated the Sooners and got out of there early. Those 2 teams play again tonight. I'm very interested to see how that game plays out.
Yeah. Here's this question. Ole Miss's RPI is number 1. They're 9-0. Why are they not in the top 5 in the country? So a couple of reasons for that. Generally speaking, right now, RPI is not the best gauge of anything. It's just too early for that. And they have not been tested yet. This weekend, I think if Ole Miss, if they sweep this weekend, they will shoot up the rankings. And also people that make rankings, they hold on to teams that they ranked preseason maybe longer than they should. I mean, Tennessee's still ranked ahead of Ole Miss. If you look at what they've done, not projection, what they've done actually on the field this season, who's better right now? Well, Ole Miss is better than Tennessee right now, but
right now, yeah.
That's all. It's just the pollsters hang on to teams. What they projected them preseason still matters.
Nobody's going from unranked to top 5
in 2 weeks.
In 2 weeks, that's not ever going to happen. So,
especially when your wins are Nevada and Missouri State series.
If you're an Ole Miss fan, it'll take care of itself if you keep winning games. That's something you don't have to worry about. If we look up in mid-April and this team has got the requisite number of wins, they'll be where they're supposed to be.
Without a doubt, the schedule is too. Just too good for them to not, as long as they take care of their own business. It's not anything you need to worry about right now, for sure. It'll take care of itself. Another one. I'm impressed with State's pitching, and not just the success or depth or even the strikeout to walks ratio, but the individual strikes to balls thrown from each pitcher. They are filling up the zone.
The pitching has been really, really good, and they're how to put this? They are using a bunch of different guys. Everybody they're putting out there has been relatively effective. You've had a couple of issues, with some of your freshmen. Jack Bauer yesterday gave up loaded the bases. He did strike out 2. Tanner, I hope I can get this right. Beliveau, the freshman who came in to close out the game, he ran into some trouble. So you've had some inconsistency here and there. But by and large, everybody you've put out there has thrown strikes and gotten guys out.
Yeah. So there you go. Also, this one from Dan in Hattiesburg. The crazy thing about Morrison is that he didn't have his bat. He uses a 33.5-inch bat. They didn't have another one, so he used Higdon's bat, which is a 34-inch, and he still did what he did. Good stuff there. Really, really good stuff there. Yeah, another one. Speaking of the Sun Belt, 5 big baseball upsets last night. It's a good league. It is a good league.
There were 5 upsets in the Sun Belt last night?
Let's see.
That seems... I don't think he's talking about... I think he's talking about the actual, just the upsets.
Well, let's see.
Because Coastal won. Southern won.
Arkansas State won.
Yeah.
Georgia State beat Georgia Tech.
Okay.
Southern Miss beat Alabama.
Okay. I guess, yeah. What
Texas State beat UTSA. And Louisiana beat Kansas State.
All right. I guess we'll take that. I don't know how much of an upset Louisiana beating Kansas State is. Louisiana's a pretty good program year in, year out. But still.
But yeah.
Oh, I mean,
it's a good night.
I'll be honest with you. How much of those are really upsets? Georgia State beating Georgia Tech, sure.
Yeah, Georgia Tech's number 5.
Yeah, but like the Sun Belt, we say it all the time. It's a great baseball conference. They're more than capable of winning a lot of these games. Like, as we said earlier in the show, I don't know that so much that Alabama or Southern Mississippi beating Alabama is this huge upset. It's just the nature of the game. The fact that they got run ruled is the surprising part to me.
Absolutely. Absolutely it is. 601-879-4395. So glad that you guys are with us. Mark Etheridge is going to join us coming up right after our next time out. And he was in Hattiesburg last night, so we'll talk to him about what he saw and get some thoughts around college baseball. And
especially with D1, like there's so much higher on Southern Mississippi than Baseball America is right now. So it'd be interesting to see his perspective. He's got to be thinking the same thing we are, that next Tuesday is looking like it's going to be a top 10 matchup between State and Southern.
For sure. And then somebody says Missouri State just won the series at Louisiana last week, so not sure how good they are. Missouri State's a good side. That was there's a chance that you're looking back, and I mean, when you play in the SEC, a Missouri State series is not going to be a resume builder, but sometimes you schedule a non-conference series and they're a drain. I don't think that one will be. They're pretty good. That was a step up in competition from week 1, I think, anyway. That's what other smart people say, and so I'll just parrot what they say and make myself sound smart as well. Somebody says, so polls now mean nothing. Why even have them? For fun.
It's not that they mean nothing.
For fun.
It's just early in the season, they got to get everything sorted out. It takes some time.
Yeah, he says, only thing that matters is where you are seated in regionals and supers, and right now Ole Miss would be the number 1 seed in the country. They would, but conference play hasn't started yet. Polls are a fun thing to look at. They help gauge,
usually the baseball polls are pretty close to what the RPI is, too. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you have an outlier, but for the most part, they're relatively close.
But yes, ultimately, you're correct. The seeding is the only thing that matters at the end of the day. Same thing in basketball. The net matters. The top 25 does not matter. The net does. Sports Talk Mississippi. Mark Etheridge when we come back.
From the
flatlands of Mississippi.
Sports Talk Mississippi.
Every minute worth waiting for.
Super Talk Mississippi.
Welcome back, Sports Talk Mississippi. Borkey and Hadad with you. We go to the Farm Bureau guest line. Check out favorites.com and go with the home team, Mississippi Farm Bureau. He was in Hattiesburg last night. He writes at d1baseball.com. His name is Mark Etheridge. He's on your radio right now. Mark, let's start there. The big winner in this state was a dominating performance from Southern Miss over Alabama. We said it before you came on. Sometimes midweek games get weird. Arkansas State beats up on Arkansas. Things like that happen. There's nothing weird, though, about Southern Miss winning a game against an Alabama, though.
Southern Miss is good. Heading into the year, there was a lot of excitement, based on how last year finished, how many players returned, the improvement that they expected from guys who had kind of bit roles last year, but had shown a lot in the fall and in the preseason. But I don't know that I expected them to come out and look as impressive as they've done through 8 games. I mean, here's what they do well. Okay, they have an older lineup that makes life incredibly challenging to pitch to them. Okay, if you make a mistake, they're going to hit it. They're not overly athletic. I mean, they've got some decent athletes, but they're better out there. But they just know how to play, man. I mean, they're a really impressive position group, and they have a little more depth because sometimes Southern Miss, you got 10 guys who you kind of run them into the ground. They got to play, and if somebody gets hurt, you're in trouble. But they've got some depth pieces that I'm really high on as well. The other thing I really like about Southern Miss is their pitching depth. I'm not sure that their top guys are as good as some of the other teams that are ranked where they are. They're good, but they don't stand out. But it's just how many they have. You're not going to see the Southern Miss team that has to rely on the same 7 or 8 pitchers all year. He's got a cast of 14 guys that he's going to be able to mix and match based on the opposition, based on who's feeling good and who's hot. And I really like this team. They've got a tough series. They've got to go to Louisiana Tech, who's solid and can certainly beat you if you don't play well. But right now, Southern Miss is playing lights out.
How many times have you ever witnessed 2 grand slams in a game in your baseball writing career?
It happens, but it's not real often. And I'll tell you what they were able to do against Alabama. I mean, they drew a bunch of walks. Like I said, they were tough to pitch to. They didn't get themselves out, and they hit the ball. I mean, you look at their numbers, and they don't just blow you away offensively. But, boy, it seems like every time they had men on base, that's when they got the clutch hit. And that's what we've seen from them. They get the Pete Taylor magic going on down there in Hattiesburg. That's a tough place to play, and they certainly showed it last night.
And, Mark, we've been talking about it the past couple of days, but we'll get your thoughts on it. I think Southern Mississippi is 12th in the D1 poll, Mississippi State 4th. If these two teams handle their business this weekend, and those are big games for them, are we going to be talking about a top 10 matchup in the state next Tuesday?
You just might, especially if a few more losses happen in front of them. That's the whole deal with this poll stuff. You don't always control your ranking, but yeah, I mean, there's been some midweek upsets. Yeah, I would certainly anticipate there's opportunities for other teams to lose ahead of them. And wouldn't that be something? You have a Mississippi State team that's talk about expectations and excitement. I mean, that may be the only program with more of it than Southern Miss right now. I mean, they're certainly feeling great, and they should be. I mean, really, the way that Mississippi State's played the last few games after the Hofstra series, they've been as good as anybody. And boy, if you roll in there Tuesday night, Southern Miss, assuming they take care of business at La Tech, man, that place is going to be rocking. I'll be there again. I mean, you probably couldn't keep me away next Tuesday night. That's going to be amazing.
Borkey, go ahead and bookmark for next Wednesday as
Perfect.
well.
Done.
We'll just bring him right back on. You mentioned Mississippi State. What should I take away from the fact that this is a team that's kind of struggled in the midweek over the past few years? In 3 midweek games this year, they've scored 13, 19, and 16 runs. And Troy and Austin Peay are teams that I think preseason we thought would be close to the NCAA tournament, if not in. The Dogs have been really, really good thus far in the midweek.
Yeah, they have done an incredible job of maintaining focus. And certainly, if you look at Brian O'Connor's track record over his career, he's done a really good job of being consistent and not having the highs and the lows, right? And I do feel like when you have have these incredible expectations. You have all these new players. I mean, you have new guys coming in expecting to play. You have returning guys who are there who are expecting to play. Then you have freshmen coming in who, hey, they're good enough to play as well. How do you keep everybody pushing in the same direction? And so far, I mean, it's early, but so far it's been a masterclass of that. And the other part that gets you beat in midweeks is just not throwing strikes. And they've been able, for the most part, to pick roles where guys can have success and not try to ask them to do things they don't need to yet or they're not ready to yet. And as a result, it's been like you described, just lopsided wins and a really good time for the home crowd.
In Oxford, Ole Miss is pitching the heck out of it, but the competition level possibly increases this weekend with Baylor, Ohio State, and Coastal Carolina. What should Ole Miss fans be watching for this weekend in Houston?
Well, the question I had about Ole Miss heading into the year is what would they do on the mound after Hunter Elliott? And to this point, they have answered in affirmative. It's early, but certainly Cade Townsend has been special so far. I mean, he's got 16 strikeouts and 1 walk through his first 2 starts. He's been great on Saturday, and I saw Will Libbert opening weekend. He's their Sunday guy. He's the Missouri transfer coming off Tommy John last year. Wasn't quite where he is now, and he's been good as well. I mean, he's got 14 strikeouts and 1 walk in his first 2 starts. So they're filling up the zone. They're able, again, kind of like Southern Miss positionally. A lot of older hitters who are going to make you work. They're going to take their walks. If you make a mistake, they're going to hit it out into the beer showers, and it's the kind of club that's going to make you beat them. And right now, I mean, they're undefeated. Nobody's been able to do it. The only concern I've got about Ole Miss, I should say the primary concern I've got about Ole Miss is they're playing catch well enough right now, and I think part of that is. You got some new starters in there and guys in different positions, and I think that will stabilize as we go. But it's certainly something to watch. Certainly as the competition rises.
Mark, we saw Tennessee drop 2 games this past weekend, and then last night just a crazy night. With the D1 top 6, 4 of the top 6 losing. What's the bigger picture lesson we're trying to get here? Is there more parity in college baseball, or is this just, I keep saying it, but is this what Ron Polk would just say, that that's just baseball?
Well, within the SEC and certainly at the teams at the top of the league, your expectations are so high that you should never lose to anyone with less talent than you. But that's just not the way baseball works. You're going to have those days when the other guy, they're either on the mound, that they've got it figured out, they have a great scouting report on you and are able to implement it, or it's just you don't throw strikes that night, or you kick the ball around and you do it at the wrong time to give up runs with it. And I feel like looking at Tennessee specifically, it's a really young team. We did a study heading into the year, career plate appearances and career innings pitched, not just at your program, but just anywhere, right? Anywhere that you pull players from. Mississippi State had the highest or the most experienced position group, and Tennessee had the lowest, right? And they were like the 3rd lowest pitching innings pitched career-wise. So when you have that kind of youth, it's not surprising that you have a little bit more inconsistency, right? And it's going to take a little bit of time. You add that to the coaching change, well documented. Tony Vitello is with the Giants now. So how does that work? Is they kind of figure out all the dynamics from the dugout and from the lineup, and how do you handle success and how do you handle failure? All those kinds of things that they've got to chart their own course for, is because it's a talented roster. They're going to win their share of games. It's just a question of how long is it going to take and how high the highs will be, and certainly the lows are coming, and how they respond to those.
I really think with Tennessee, Mark, they've been such a villain to so many people. I think everybody's just ready to write the obituary there, but I think you and I would both caution people to do that. That team, like you mentioned, is still very, very talented.
They're not going anywhere. Yeah, they're going to still be good.
Huge games coming up this weekend, Mark. We'll be looking forward to talking to you next week. As if you're coming to Hattiesburg, we will definitely get you back on to recap what happens between the Bulldogs and the Golden Eagles.
Look forward to it. Talk to you then.
Mark Etheridge, D1 Baseball, joins us on the Farm Bureau guest line. Check out favorites.com and go with the home team. We are trending towards some massive games early in the season.
Yeah.
Mississippi State, Southern Mississippi, and Ole Miss. I mean, like we said, State plays Southern Mississippi next week. Then the week after that, they'll play the Rebels, and then after that, we'll be in the conference play for all 3 schools. So it's just getting started. We'll be back in just a minute.
From the
Check this out.
Sports Talk Mississippi. Super Talk Mississippi.
Sports Talk Mississippi back with you here on a Wednesday. Brian Hadad and Michael Borkey. What? Just gave me a look.
No.
Don't you be looking at me like that, son.
No.
Young man. Sports Talk Mississippi is brought to you in part by AgriGold. AgriGold believes progress in the field starts with seed and the people who plant it. That's why AgriGold focuses 100% on seed, delivering trusted genetics and solutions to help you get more out of every acre. Contact Carrie Baker at 662-836-7417, your local AgriGold representative, to learn more. Or visit agrigold.com to explore seed solutions and agronomy resources. Plant your legacy today with AgriGold.
All right. Mark mentioned the beer showers.
Yeah.
I have to get this off my chest. And I hope somebody...
Is this where you finally admit they're dumb? Here we go.
No.
Okay.
They're awesome.
No, it couldn't be more wrong, but go ahead.
Oh, you say that because you don't like fun. It's
No,
fine.
I like to drink beer.
Yeah.
I don't like to waste it.
Buy extras. It's Natty Light, man.
Have you been around? Have you been to the grocery store lately? Buy extras. So, what, am I going to take out a loan? A second mortgage?
The cheap beer is still cheap.
I guess.
I hope somebody at Ole Miss is listening to this because something needs to change. And frankly, it doesn't need to change. It needs to go back to the old ways. The beer showers. They're not good anymore.
Oh.
They're not good anymore.
Well.
And I think I have figured out the reason why. They all don't have it in cups anymore. You've got dudes out there holding cans of whatever and try to throw liquid out of a can. It doesn't happen. It doesn't work. The beer showers used to have power behind them. Like you could see them the second the ball would go over the right field fence, you would look up, and it was a true like blanket of the beverage of choice in the air because everybody had a wide-mouthed solo cup throwing the liquid in the air. When you got a bunch of dudes holding seltzers and stuff, there's no power behind the beer shower anymore.
A bunch of Nancys out there with their high noons or whatever.
So Ole
why don't
Miss,
you drink a beer like a man?
I hope you're listening to this because it needs to go back. It doesn't look good anymore. On the broadcast, guy says, "Cue the showers." There's no showers. It's a sprinkle. It's like when you forget, like when you don't tighten the nozzle on the hose all the way and a little water leaks out. That's what the beer shower has become. You're just like washing your face. You're not doing the whole body. It's a bird bath. It's not a shower. Make them all put their drinks back in cups and make the beer showers great again. That is my State of the Union speech. You got to fix it, Ole Miss. Yeah. They're not good anymore.
Does that mean
everybody knows it? You got to fix it.
I get a retort?
No, there's no retort.
I get to have the
no. There's no retort.
Because mine would be very simple. Just drink your beer like a man.
There's no counter argument.
You buy a beer, you drink a beer. Buy a beer, drink another beer. What? Buy another beer, drink that beer. Buy 4 beers, drink 4 beers. What?
You bring a 30-pack, you have fun. It's
30.
Yeah.
Or 9 innings? Was that just for one guy, right?
And then, you would have to gift 1 or 2 to the girls when they would show up, that kind of thing.
But, well, yeah.
Yeah. A 30 rack
Is
and a
this
cooler
how it's working
how
now?
you go to the baseball games.
The girls are bringing a 30-pack of seltzers and they're gifting 1 to the guys?
Yeah, I mean, apparently. But I see too many cans out there. There's too many cans out there. You got to go back to it. Got to go back to it. I don't want anybody getting kicked out or anything. It's got to be in a cup, though. Make that a requirement. That used to be the requirement. If you were holding a beer in a can out there, security would be like, if you don't put that in a cup right now, I'm kicking you out. Bring that policy back.
You're law and order. I
yes.
See. Okay.
I'm also all about aesthetics.
I guess.
You got to make it look good. What I mean, what are you can turn it into Alabama out there.
What are they doing?
They're
not even going to the games. They don't care about baseball in Alabama. All they care about is betting on it. That was just the coaches.
See, Ashley, I don't even agree with that. No, make them put their seltzers in the cups. Everything's got to be in a cup. If you have a can of anything, you're gone. You get one warning, next time's ejection. You can't play with stuff like this, guys. It's serious business out there. Or at least it used to be. Back in my day, it was serious business out there.
Wasting beer is serious business.
Things
That's
mattered.
what this country's come to.
Things mattered. They don't matter anymore. Bring decorum back. We need decorum. There's an art.
I'm afraid I've got some bad news. There is no decorum. Just drink your beer, guys. Just drink it.
No, stop. No, stop. No, you're wrong.
Like a man.
You're not. No.
I'm
get
100% correct.
No, you're not.
I couldn't be more accurate.
Get out
in
of here with that.
My thought process.
Get out of here. Somebody says they should allow kegs. They don't need to do that. You just need to go back to the old way. That's all you need to do. Go back to the old way. Not this new age, I've got my Truly or whatever, and I can't be bothered to put it in a cup. Give me a break. Oh, but it's mango flavored.
The jokes write themselves.
When we come back after the news, there's been things that have been said today in the media about the basketball programs here that we need to address. We'll do that when we come back.
You're hearing Sports Talk Mississippi.
What? This is so
Awesome on Super Talk Mississippi.
Sports Talk Mississippi back with you here on a Wednesday afternoon. What's up on Sports Talk Mississippi? We've got more from Pete Nakos later in the college football fix. Some more of his general manager, coach, survey, info. It's good stuff. We'll talk about that later. Plus, we're going to talk some basketball. Now, don't turn the channel. Don't do that. We're not going to preview any games or anything like that. This is more big picture stuff that Michael Borkey wants to delve into. What's up on Sports Talk Mississippi is brought to you by Ag Up. Own the John Deere compact tractor you've always wanted now with 0% financing at Ag Up. Whether you're trading in, upgrading your land, or a new landowner needing equipment, your down-home team will get you the right machine at the right price. Now with 0% financing on all 1 through 4 series machines. Stop by your local Ag Up or visit them at agup.com, your down-home dealer. Offer ends April 30th, 2026. Some restrictions apply. See dealer for details.
Jeff Borzello at ESPN wrote a big hot seat coaching carousel preview, 5,000 words on 22 jobs and 20 coaching candidates. And here's what he wrote about Chris Jans. Okay, this is on ESPN. Chris Jans, Mississippi State. After going to the NCAA tournament in each of his first 3 seasons in Starkville, Jans and the Bulldogs are limping toward a sub-500 finish. Mississippi State is considered one of the worst jobs in the SEC, so it's conceivable he could look to jump to another high major program with the right fit.
Well, there's 2 issues with that. One, the idea that Mississippi State's one of the worst programs in the SEC. I'm not saying Mississippi State's the best program, but it's been in the NCAA tournament 3 times in the last 4 years. It's going to miss it this year for the first time in 3 years. They've been to Final Four. They've won 6 SEC championships and another 3 SEC tournament championships, which puts them in the top 6 all time, I believe. From a facility standpoint, the Hump just got a major facelift. They have a brand new, they have a tremendous practice facility attached to the Humphrey Coliseum. They just put in a brand new recruiting area at the Humphrey Coliseum. From an NIL standpoint, look, these guys haven't worked out. I'll be the first one to tell you that Ballard, Achor, those guys have not worked out. But they didn't come for free. Those guys had offers from other programs, and State had to pay to get them there. State's roster has a lot of money sunk into it, and sunk is the right word. I don't understand where this is coming from, and it's coming from 2 or 3 different people who have made this comment in the past few weeks. I mean, I just don't see
I hope
where
it's not coming from where I think it could be.
You think it's coming from Jans's people?
Yeah. Same thing with Beard. We'll get to that in a second, too.
The other side of that, though, is this. You talk about a high major. Chris Jans makes $4.5 million a year.
See, and that
he ain't leaving for less money. What high major is going to pay that?
That underscores the entire point, though. That underscores the entire point in this. Just how, and it's coming from somewhere. Guys like this don't make stuff up. We talked about it last Friday, although baseball covered all of our stations. Even people like a Trilly Donnet, they don't make stuff up. This is written in ESPN because it's being talked about behind the scenes. But how unbelievably lazy it is to blame Job on this team's results. It's infuriating. It is absolutely infuriating. Do you know, it would make a lot of you sick to know what you spent on your basketball roster.
Oh, yeah.
What one player in particular is making on your basketball roster. Mississippi State stepped up in salary, and they stepped up in available budget to pay players. I know Mississippi's unique where baseball really matters and stuff like that, but what drives me insane, absolutely insane, is when you've got a Mississippi State team that is struggling right now. They're having a down year, and the job is blamed for it. I hate that so much. It's annoying. It's not the Mississippi State job's fault that this team is failing. The coach was given, and I like Chris Jans a lot. He was good to us when we were there for the camp tour. I think if he continues to be the coach at Mississippi State, a down season like this is not going to last very long. I would expect next season to go much better because he's proven that this is an offshoot as opposed to an expectation. But still, he's the one that got Mississippi State to pay a player in particular and fight off Kentucky to keep him around. That cost. You think that didn't cost anything? So State stepped up to fight off Kentucky for a player, and then they stepped up to go to the transfer portal and get the number of players that he has gotten. He recruited and evaluated and made you pay for them, and his coaching and his team is coming up short, and it is not Mississippi State's fault. It's not the job's fault. Again, it's a one-off year. You're allowed to have an off year. It does happen. But this kind of crap is so freaking lazy is what it is. And it's stuck in the pre-portal era. It's stuck in the past. It's just, he's losing because he's at Mississippi State. Garbage. That's absolute garbage. And it just keeps getting written. And you would think that Indiana winning in football and things like that would wake people up to the fact that traditional anything in college sports is dead. But apparently not. Apparently not. Apparently you just see Mississippi in the name of a school and, he can't win there.
Yeah, it's just definitely very annoying. And like I said, it's come from several different people over the past couple of weeks. And perhaps it is an agent deal. You know, that it's certainly possible. I would think that Chris Jans, by and large, is pretty happy at Mississippi State. They've put plenty of money into the program. He makes great money in salary. The fan support prior to this season has been really, really good for him. Obviously, it hasn't been great this year, but who's going to show up in the SEC outside of Kentucky? Who is showing up for losing basketball? Who? Kentucky will show up for whatever because that's their thing. But everybody else is going to be like, we're on to baseball. What's football looking like? Yeah, and that's just the way that it is.
Yeah.
And even then, I mean, they had a packed house, a pretty close to packed house for the Ole Miss game. When you drop that game at home, people are going to be like, all right, it's done now. We're not going to have a good season. Let's move on to the next thing. And maybe part of that is State's had so much anticipation of baseball since Brian O'Connor was hired that once it was obvious the team was not going to be good, people were just like, I'm done. I'm going to save my money and come for baseball games. That's an unfortunate byproduct of that, but Mississippi State has been very good to Chris Jans. Paid him a ton of money.
Yes.
He's won a lot of games here. The relationship has been very beneficial. His high school recruiting has been really good these past two classes. It looks like State's going to, look, next year they're going to the portal. They got to evaluate better. But if they do that, they'll be right back in the NCAA tournament. And four tournaments in 5 years is good at most programs, especially at Mississippi State.
He didn't just pick on Mississippi State. Further down in the article, Chris Beard, Ole Miss. Beard is in the same category as Jancy says, a coach who could look to bounce to a job with a bigger budget if something becomes available. The Rebels are struggling mightily this season, sitting only one game out of last place in the SEC at 3-11, 11-16 overall. Whose fault is that? Whose fault is that? This kind of stuff, it's just so lazy. But again, the budget thing, that comes from somewhere. He didn't make that up. That came from somewhere, whether it be an agent or something. After last season, Ole Miss goes to the Sweet 16. Texas A&M heavily pursued Chris Beard. Heavily pursued him. Obviously, it was very public. Ole Miss met the contract demand, and he is getting paid a ridiculous amount of money.
Yeah.
His contract for a basketball coach at Ole Miss is huge. Don't talk to me about budget when he's got the contract that he's got. And oh, by the way, the NIL budget was filled. But what did you spend it on? A bunch of misevaluations and a team that's awful. Now, I think what's best for Ole Miss would be to Chris Beard. What would be best for Ole Miss is for Chris Beard to continue to be its coach moving forward. I'm not doing that either. Just like you didn't with Jans, what would be best for? He's a great coach. They're having a really bad season. But blaming the budget? No, this team is not 11-16 because of budget, my friend. So whoever told you that, if it came from somebody in his corner or not, is wrong. This team doesn't have a budget problem. This team has an evaluation problem. It has a talent problem. They haven't been able to get them to play together. Whose fault is that? It's not the job's fault. I'm talking about budget, a bigger budget. There is the return.
Spent a ton
of money this offseason.
Yeah,
and these teams are dreadful.
They misevaluated guys. Simple as that.
But on ESPN, they're blaming the jobs for why the teams are bad, which is lazy and it's garbage.
I mean, if Quincy Ballard was a 14.9 rebound per game guy and State had 5 or 6 more wins, which they would have if he was doing that, is all of a sudden State a better program? Does all this go away if State has 5 more wins because Quincy Ballard is what he was advertised to be?
That would have been written.
No, that's the question I would have.
Sports Talk Mississippi. Text us on the C Spire text line 601-879-4395.
Sports Talk Mississippi is brought to you by Covington County Hospital in Collins, where your health matters.
Come on. Are we going to do this?
Back to Sports Talk Mississippi.
Keep rolling. 3, 2, 1.
Super Talk Mississippi.
Welcome back, Sports Talk Mississippi, talking about the ESPN article listing both Jayens and Beard as a coach looking to get out because of budget or whatever. And so the question is, considering the seasons that they've had, what happens if that does come to fruition? Again, we talked about this last Friday, but baseball covered up all of our stations. My stance would be, if I were Keith Carter, for example, if that's actually true, which there's no way of knowing it's true, I don't know, but one of you on the text line said, nobody's telling this reporter anything, he's just making it up. I disagree with that sentiment.
That's how reporters get fired. You can't. He heard this from somebody. He talked to somebody who told him this.
It's coming from somewhere.
Right.
And especially when coaches are having really bad years.
Calls coming from inside the house.
And again, Jayens and Beard could be super happy, not looking around at all. I don't know that. But this did come from somewhere. So what happens if it comes to fruition? If I was Keith Carter right now, and it's Kansas State or whatever, and they want Beard, I wouldn't, it's just my opinion, you're free to disagree, I would not increase the salary another dime. You have this contract. It's an incredibly lucrative contract. I pay you basically like I pay my football coach at an SEC school. I will talk to the donors. I'll get you the NIL that you need to be competitive. They're probably furious, but I'll deal with that because you need NIL to win. But I'm not changing your contract at all. Not at all. It's not getting rolled over. Nothing.
$7 million, right?
Apparently, it's not to 7 yet, but it's north of 6.
Yeah, you can't.
No,
you can't. You can't.
You're 11 and 16. No shot.
Especially when they're paying Golding right at 7, right? Yeah, I mean you can't do that.
So I'm not fighting it. I would like for you to stay. Mm-hmm. Took the program to the second Sweet 16 ever. I would love for you to stay.
I have a question. I may be needling the Ole Miss fans here, but what if it's LSU?
No, you don't fight. Doesn't matter.
You don't fight? No. You're going to let them take another one?
Don't care. After going 11 and 16, or that's what they are right now.
Yeah.
Go ahead, LSU.
All right, just making sure.
You pay his roster and Kim Mulkey's roster. Go for it.
I wanted to see what you say.
I wouldn't.
Yeah.
I threw you a lifeline, a career lifeline, before anybody else would have.
No doubt.
And if you want me to play hardball again for the third off season in a row with job and stuff, your contract is your contract. If that's not acceptable, so be it. But I'm not rewarding a season like this because of other jobs being open. It's not happening.
That's fair. I think that's fair. With State and Jans, I don't know. I don't know how they would handle that if indeed he came to them and was like, hey, I've got another offer. First off, like I said, somebody mentioned Kansas State with Jans, right? They were paying Jerome Tang 3.6. Are they going to go to 5 for Chris Jans? Because, I mean, that's probably what it's going to take to pull him. I don't know if that's going to happen or not. So I feel like State's got him in a competitive salary spot. If they extended his deal, I don't think people would be too mad about that if they wanted to give him another year. But at the same time, I don't know. There's also the question of Hubbard, like how connected to the hip are Hubbard, and because you don't want the pain of Josh Hubbard leaving. And I know you can't recruit and you can't build your program around one guy who's only going to be there for one more year. But the guy is the face of the program, and you want him there. But at the end of the day, I don't think Jans is going anywhere. Now, I know how coaching searches work, right? And I didn't think Kiffin was going anywhere until LSU opened up. And even then, when Landry, the governor, opened his mouth, I thought, well, that's probably killed that.
And then they made the playoff, or were about to make the playoff anyway.
And then but I forgot the main thing, that Lane Kiffin is an autistic psychopath, and you can't take anything he says for granted. Jans is not that way. That said, the right job might open up where Jans considers a move. You never know. So we'll see what happens between now and March, April, so on and so forth. But right now, I feel really confident that Chris Jans will be on the sidelines for Mississippi State next year.
601-879-4395. Somebody says if Beard leaves, go get Will Wade. I don't know if that would work out. Dwight says you fight for him this year and let him go next year if it's a similar season. Somebody says, could you imagine the trolling from Lane if that happened? Goodness, Jans has looked to get out for the past 2 years, especially last year. He has a better chance of leaving than Beard, in my opinion. That is coming from a State fan.
I don't know how much Jans really tried to look to get out last year. I think that was overblown. So,
by the way, they both play tonight. State's at Alabama. Yeah. They're a 14.5-point underdog. LSU and Ole Miss fighting for the bottom of the SEC, where Ole Miss is a 2.5-point favorite.
I would parlay and give you the points on both of those.
I mean, if you can't beat LSU.
You should beat LSU. LSU is really, really bad.
Disaster.
And then State, Alabama is always a nightmare for Jans. Even when his teams have been good, he cannot stay on the floor with Alabama at times. So, yeah, I think State loses big tonight, probably.
I'm curious about crowd in the pavilion. I mean, it's going to be horrendous, but how horrendous? How bad? And by the way, I'm not a fan shamer. If you have chosen not to go to the game tonight, I understand.
Yeah, you're fine at this point.
They're 11 and 16. I get it.
Nobody's shame. You know, if they were good, we would tell you to go. But if they're not, I understand. It's expensive. You've already sunk money into the team. It's fine. You don't have to go.
Yeah.
That said, it's a good question. State plays at noon on Saturday at the Hump against Missouri. Like, what is that crowd going to look like?
Especially if they lose tonight.
Oh yeah, well, if you're so generous, Borkey.
Yeah, I mean, if Hubbard scores 35 in the first half again,
yeah, they could find a way to squeak one out. You're right. I think this Saturday is going to be just a very low crowd. The fact that baseball is not in town either, so it's not. There's nothing bringing people to Starkville. Mm-hmm. If baseball were here, people would be like, "Well, I'm here, and I can go to baseball after, and that I could do that." Now it's that's not going to happen. So I think it's going to be some really low crowds for both teams.
Jeff says, "Let's cancel basketball and start a cricket league." Yeah. Have you ever tried to watch cricket? Have you ever actually tried?
I don't know the rules, so no, I never have. I just know it's very fast paced.
What was it? The World Cup of Cricket or something? When the American team beat India or something for the first time ever, and so
Pakistan, I think
that's what it was.
Yeah,
I tried to watch it a little bit, and I Googled the rules and watched a 5-minute YouTube video of here's how cricket works. I don't mean to be rude, but I'm going to be rude. It's horrible. It's a horrible sport. It's awful. Like, I had the rules in front of my face, and I just watched a video. I can't watch it. I can't do it. I tried. I gave it the old college try. Yeah. It was so painful. It's awful. And I get there's some electric moments, I suppose, but I don't know which came first, but I would like to think that baseball is the Americanization of cricket, where we took this thing and just made it better, as opposed to cricket altering baseball and making it worse. Like, I hope one came before the other, just for the sake of everybody.
I think cricket came first.
I hope so. Because if it didn't, if that's what somebody tried to turn baseball into, that's like taking a Clydesdale.
Oh, yeah. Cricket was likely invented during medieval England.
Okay. All right.
Going back to 1597, there's a reference to it in a court case.
Yeah.
So, yes, baseball is the improved version of cricket.
And, buddy, let me tell you, it is so much improved.
Oh, I can't believe we took a sport from England and improved it. What were the odds of that?
We're very good at that.
I mean, I like soccer, but football is better.
Football's better than football.
Yes. And cricket is not even really a thing.
Oh, it's horrible. It's so bad.
When they gave us darts, we gave them golden tea.
180.
I understood that reference.
Yes. So yeah, cricket not for me. Just not for me. Yeah, it lasts for days. It
does. Yeah, it does. Yeah, I don't know, and I don't know how that works. Like, how do they leave the field and they're like, "Oh, the game's not over yet." Like, what is this? Like, all-time quarterback? What are we doing here?
And you just hit the ball anywhere.
Yeah,
just anywhere. You're right. You're in the middle of the field.
Right.
So just don't let it hit the sticks, and you're good.
All I know about cricket is that was a wicked googly. That's all I know.
Sports Talk Mississippi. We'll be right back in the Pearl River Resort studio. And remember, all guests appear on the Farm Bureau guest line. Check out favorites.com and go with the home team, Mississippi Farm Bureau. We'll be back.
From the Seabrook.com. Come on, SuperTalk Mississippi.
Check this out. Are you ready? Yeah.
Sports Talk Mississippi.
Welcome back, Sports Talk Mississippi. Michael Borkey, Brian Hadad with you. Coming up for the College Football Fix, there's new rules trying to get proposed to prevent what is expected to be like a shadow second transfer portal window.
It's the black market.
Charles Huff actually made reference to that on this show. They're
He
trying
did.
to make that not a thing. We'll tell you about that coming up.
Yes.
On the cricket front, is there an obscure sport that you actually like really enjoy to watch? I mean, non-mainstream sport.
I mean, does horse racing count? Because I only really watch the
That
majors.
counts.
You know, and what's crazy, that used to be like the third biggest sport in the country, right? It was baseball, boxing, and horse racing. And you know,
Isn't that wild?
That's crazy to think about. Beyond that, I've never gotten into highlight, although it's really cool to watch.
Is that the guys that have
They have the cestas.
the big scoopers?
Yeah. That's the world's fastest sport.
I remember when they did that on Jack rear end.
I think you can just say it's the name of a television show. I think you're okay.
I know, but there's
You're-
kids in the
you're such
car.
a
It's right
prude.
after school.
They know the name of that show.
But yeah, they lined up and bent over and got hit in the butt by those. Yeah, that was.
Beyond that, I'm pretty mainstream. I'm pretty basic, pretty standard, really.
Somebody says disc golf.
I don't play it, but I know there's that's a huge sport. It has a huge following. Yeah, for sure.
Sometimes that will get in my algorithm, and they have like a full tour
Oh yeah,
and like popular players that have galleries when they go play and stuff. It's really
Yeah.
interesting.
yeah.
Mine would be. I used to every summer I would lock into the Tour de France.
Okay, yeah.
Of
F1
course,
has become that for a lot of people now. People are locked. You know that there was that documentary, and then there was a movie, and it got people into F1. Like I would wake up on a Saturday morning, and my Twitter feed would be just full of people like, "I can't believe he did this." I'm like, "What's going on?" Racing is like a sport I've just never really got into. NASCAR, F1, IndyCar, just never have for whatever reason.
Lance Armstrong really dragged me into it. And then one of the guys on his team for a long time, George Hincapie, was from my hometown. So there was like a little hometown hero, put it on and watch George. So I watched all of the stages of the Tour de France every summer because of Lance and the Livestrong thing and all that.
Are you a pickleballer?
No, I haven't yet.
I got a friend who picked it up, and she's been really enjoying it. So
I'm not adverse to it. I just when do I have the time? When I have the time to go do something like that, I want to be on the golf course.
Yeah, see, if you play golf, that eats everything up. Like that's a 3 to 4 hour commitment, right?
Yes.
Like you're not just gonna be like, I'm gonna go play a couple of holes and come back. No one's doing it.
Actually, no. Sorry, husbands out there. It's
Oh yeah, my bad.
3 to 4 hours. If you're only playing 9, if you're playing 18 with the guys,
That's a full 8 hour day.
Yeah, I mean,
get
at
it,
a minimum 6 is what you need if you're going to do that. So, and that's only if the course is clear. If there's slow players in front of him, don't get mad at him. He can't help that the other guys are slow. Okay, so if he's got a noon tee time and he's home at 8.
That's about right.
That's about right. Yeah. Somebody says love watching rugby. Rugby is fun. It's just football's just better. And so it's hard to watch worse football, if that makes sense.
Yes. Rugby is like the illegitimate child of soccer and football, and I don't really know all the rules. Like sometimes you can kick it, sometimes you can't. You don't score until you go down in the end zone.
Yeah.
I don't know what all's going on there. So yeah. But that being said, I wouldn't want to play rugby because those guys are tougher than shoe leather.
Yeah, they are.
So I'm not getting out there with those New Zealanders doing the haka, and I'm gonna stay away from that.
Somebody says, as of recently, curling. I did see the Barstool guys try to do curling.
Mm-hmm.
That we need to bring pros versus Joes back.
100%.
Because when you watch curling, you're like, I could do that. And then a bunch of bros at Barstool tried to do it, and they couldn't even push off to release the stone, let alone do it accurately and all that stuff.
Well, again, this goes into a debate we have every 4 years about people see stuff in the Olympics are like, I could do that. And no, you can't. These people train every day of their life to do what they're doing on that stage. And you think you can just pick it up after a couple of beers? No.
Somebody says the X Games. I used to watch the X Games. I loved the X Games. Man, ESPN in its heyday, X Games, World's Strongest Man, all that stuff.
Those were good times.
Man, I loved the X Games.
Who didn't want to watch the World's Strongest Man and Magnus for Magnuson?
And the Atlas Stones.
Yeah, those were good. Those were good times.
You know they get bigger as they go.
Yes.
Man,
competitive eating, does that count? Can we watch that?
Do you enjoy watching?
No,
that?
I can't watch it. I can't.
Dan says the Lumberjack Games. See, again, ESPN in its heyday
had all this stuff. This is the stuff that's on the Ocho now. Yeah, I'm a lumberjacker, baby.
Somebody said it's F1 is insane in person. Yeah, so I remember the IndyCar race in Nashville because they went over the bridge in Nashville.
Right.
And there was a little bump, and it was only like a couple of inches bump in the bridge. And they had to fix it immediately because the cars are so fast and so aerodynamic that a little bump about that big could send the cars airborne.
Yeah.
I mean, they're like mini airplanes.
They're holding on to the ground by a wish and a prayer. Like the science behind why an Indy car doesn't jump off the street is something.
Somebody says, watch Paris. Is that Roubaix for epic cycling? I think I pronounced that correctly.
Let me see if I as you know, I am the French expert here on the show. Where is that? Paris. That's probably, if I had to guess, it's probably Roubaix.
Ah,
like
okay.
Paris-Roubaix. Pétain Chantigny.
Kevin loves watching Australian rules football. You're just scouting for future punters. That's what you're doing.
That's a good point, yeah.
Darts tournaments in Europe are like big events nationally televised. They're huge, yeah. Everybody's they've got pitchers of beer in their hands and they're losing their minds every time there's 3 triple 20s.
Yes. I like to play darts when I'm at an establishment that offers such.
Josh says bare knuckle boxing. Have you seen the new thing, the heavyweight? I forget what they call it.
The run at the guys?
Yeah.
It's just called. I think it's called like run. Like, yes, you got to run. So for you, if those of you who haven't seen that, and first off, I highly encourage you to check it out on like TikTok and Instagram. The highlights are crazy. B, I do not encourage you to participate in it.
Somebody is going to die.
Someone is going to have a massive broken neck, head injury. Basically, imagine if football had no blockers and you couldn't evade the tackler.
It's about what? A yard wide strip that they're allowed to be on.
They're about 10 yards apart, and it's when the whistle blows, you've got to run straight at the other guy.
And knock him down.
And
not like tackle him. No, it's one collision.
It is hit sticking him, basically. And there have been some I'm just like, I don't know how that guy got up. Like, that is the worst idea ever. I thought power slap was a bad idea. This is a worse idea.
And it's going to take a tragedy in order for that to not be a thing anymore.
Well, that's the thing, though. It's like, I hate to say this, but like, there's some gladiator aspect to that. Like, guys are like, hey, this is a way for me to make a living, and all I got to do is, scramble my brains a little bit. I'll be all right. There's some of that to it. Every society has that.
Somebody says, remember the street hockey on ESPN? I don't remember. That's the one thing I don't remember, the street hockey on ESPN.
Yeah.
Huh. Pool is not a bad sport. I remember the trick shot competition.
Pool is something I am not good at. I'm not a billiards player. I never have been. For whatever reason, I've never been good at it. Tried, put enough money into the pool machines there. Maybe I wasn't drunk enough.
Somebody says American Gladiators.
Was awesome back in the day.
Buddy in my fraternity's from Minnesota and says they have curling in bars like we have cornhole. I need to go to a curling bar. I think I'll just stick to shuffleboard. I need to go.
I don't want to get out on the ice. That feels like a terrible idea.
Somebody says MXC. Oh, I remember those days.
I don't know what that is.
Oh gosh, what did that stand for? Major Extreme Challenge. So hey, Dad, it was on Comedy Central. I think Comedy Central or Spike TV. And they took a Chinese or Japanese game show and dubbed English voices over them. Oh, hey, Dad, you've got to watch the highlight. It is
I know what you're talking about. I have seen that.
Oh,
yeah.
It's so funny.
Right,
oh, my
I'll
gosh.
check that out.
Yeah, that was not, on the rotation of obscure sports on ESPN. It was a comedy show.
It was a comedy show,
my
yeah.
Gosh.
I've seen videos of that, so yeah.
Another one for paintball. I played paintball as a kid. I loved it.
I've played it once. I had a lot of fun. I've never been back. Anybody wants to invite me to play paintball, I might show up.
If there's one around here, I'm in.
Yeah.
Sports Talk Mississippi. Talking obscure sports, why not? It's a Wednesday. We're having fun. We'll be back in just a minute.
Let the broadcasting of the disturbed continue.
Sports Talk Mississippi. Super Talk Mississippi.
Sports Talk Mississippi. We're going to look at the SEC scoreboard for college baseball because we've got a couple of interesting ones here on a Wednesday. There's some midweek action going on. We'll give you some of the not interesting ones first. Missouri takes down Arkansas Pine Bluff 5-1. That's the final score there. And then Kentucky is up in the bottom of the fifth over Western Kentucky 8-2. Here are the interesting ones. First off, the one that has some local interest for Mississippi State fans. Arizona State up 3-1 over Oklahoma. Looking like Arizona State is a legit team. That game on Friday has a lot riding on it right now. If Arizona State's able to go to Norman and get two games off of what was maybe the hottest team in the country, the Oklahoma Sooners. So 3-1 in the bottom of the third. In Fayetteville, Arkansas leads Arkansas State 1-0 in the bottom of the sixth. That game going on there at Baum. That is that's going to be one to keep an eye on over the next few minutes as Arkansas looks to bounce back from losing yesterday. And then over in Athens, in the bottom of the eighth, Troy, who Mississippi State beat last week, they are leading Georgia 5-3. I'm sorry, no, that game is now tied up 5-5. So what happened in that inning? I guess they're in the top of the ninth. So Georgia ties it up in the bottom of the inning right after. So here's what it was 2-2. It was 3-2 Georgia going into the eighth. Troy scores 3 in the top of the eighth, take a 5-3 lead. Georgia answers with 2 to tie it back up. So we go to the top of the ninth at Foley Field. Georgia and Troy tied at 5.
Yeah, State fans, you are not fans of the Bulldogs right now.
No, you'd like Troy to win that game, and Arizona State winning that game. If you can beat them, that's going to be a really nice bump for you if you can get that game on Friday. So some things playing out good for Mississippi State, but you got to win the games. Later tonight, Florida and Florida International back at it after playing yesterday. South Carolina will take on Queens tonight, and Auburn will host 1-7 West Georgia at 6 o'clock. First pitch over there on the plains of Alabama.
When South Carolina plays Queens tonight, I hope there's not weather, but even if there is, the show must go on.
Well, if the roads are bad, maybe you don't take your car. You ride your bicycle over there.
I love to ride my bicycle.
Yes.
By the way, that song, horrible.
Bicycle?
Yes.
It's terrible.
It's awful.
Yeah.
How did they release that? And how did that become popular?
They were Queen. And
I know, they're super talented.
Everything they touched turned to gold at a certain point, I mean, what about Bohemian Rhapsody makes you think that should be a hit song?
Because it's awesome.
It is awesome, but I think it's because Queen makes it awesome. Like, I'm going to pick a random band here. If Trickster had sang Bohemian Rhapsody, we'd be like, what are these idiots doing?
Do you know what I need? I need a band like Korn to do Bohemian Rhapsody. I just want to hear what that sounds like. Give me heavy metal.
A little silhouette of a man.
Yeah. Or Coheed and Cambria or something.
Like, to the fandango. Yeah, something like that.
That's what I need. I need something like
Korn covering Bohemian Rhapsody. This would be a tremendous summer topic for us.
It really
what
would.
are the worst potential combinations of covers for band and song?
Korn doing Bohemian Rhapsody is up there.
Exactly. One Direction does Inner Sandman. I want to hear what that sounds like. Stuff like that.
Taylor Swift does Down with the Sickness.
Can you imagine? That'd be incredible.
Give us a new data center. I've got some AI ideas that I need.
We don't need any water anyway. It'll be all right.
Oh man!
Everybody on the text line. We're talking about this obscure sports. They're talking about that power slap. That is a dangerous sport, man.
I can't.
You are getting your brain scrambled.
I can't watch it.
It just pops up in the algorithm. I'm just like, oh God. It's like watching a train wreck. Like you don't want to watch, but you do. It's just awful.
Yeah. Josh says Slipknot doing "I Would Die for You" by Prince. Eminem does "Ring of Fire."
There you go. A buddy of mine just texted me, George Strait's Bohemian Rhapsody would be awful.
Oh, could you imagine?
I see a little silhouette of a man. Can't really do George Strait, but still.
I mean, honestly, though?
I don't know.
Now that you did that, it's like maybe he could.
Perhaps.
Perhaps we will do the college football fix when we come back. It was reported by Ross Dellinger first. The NCAA is trying to prevent a shadow spring portal window. What do we mean by that? It's something Charles Huff brought up on this show in the past. People think it was going to happen. The NCAA trying to stop it. And some other rule changes or possible rule changes as well. We will tell you about that for the college football fix. Don't go anywhere.
Sports Talk Mississippi. Here's more. Super Talk Mississippi.
Pink Floyd does Taylor Swift. Why not?
Pink Floyd does Taylor Swift. I'm trying to make that work in my mind.
Probably would be awesome.
Trying to think of a Taylor Swift song.
Snoop Dogg does Rush.
We hear about Free Whizzle. Tom Sawizzle.
Sports Talk Mississippi, Borkey and Hadad with you. It's just after 5 o'clock. You know what time it is.
It's time for the college football fix, driven by your Mississippi Ford dealers. That's the home of the best-selling truck in America, the Ford F-150. It's built Ford truck tough. Guys, if you're in the market right now, if you're thinking I need to get a new truck, there is only one choice to make. Go with the absolute best and been that way for 5 decades. The Ford F-150 at your Mississippi Ford dealers. Thank you for your attention to this matter.
Ross Dellinger, Hadad's favorite reporter.
I really like Ross.
He's a great guy.
But,
outstanding. No. Changes to the college football calendar, reading from Yahoo and Ross Dellinger, obviously. During meetings this week, the NCAA Football Oversight Committee, he used the word in writing coalesced. Hey, Ross.
Coalesced.
Ross.
You're not impressing anybody.
What are you doing, man?
You think you think you know more than us? You think you're better than me?
In journalism school, they say write to a 5th grade level. Show off. Anyway, around several concepts related to the calendar and transfers, including a proposal to impose stiff penalties on schools that accept transfers outside of the portal window. The penalties that they are proposing are pretty nuts. Multiple sources with knowledge of the concept spoke to him at Yahoo. The committee relayed some of those proposals later Wednesday, including, so this is if a school accepts a transfer outside of the transfer window, a player that was not in the transfer portal from January 2nd to 15th or whatever it was. So why are we even talking about this? If you remember, Hadad's conversation with Charles Huff months ago, many months ago.
It's crazy how relevant that conversation still is.
Wild. He said, yeah, I mean, it's great to have one portal window, but guys are just going to, enroll in a different school in the spring and walk on, and they'll get their scholarships paid for anyway. So great that we have one window, but it's not going to stop anything.
Right.
That was something that was talked about a lot behind the scenes. Like, hey, you think you have your roster locked down, but they're still tampering. Players are still saying, hey, guess what? Just enroll in our place, and we'll make sure all the finances are taken care of. That is still happening. The NCAA trying to stop it. Here is what the penalties they are proposing to be would be. If a school accepts a transfer that was not in the portal in the transfer window, they would prohibit a head coach from all football activities, recruiting, on-field coaching, meetings, everything, through 6 games. A fine of $20,000 of the school's football budget.
20%.
20%.
Yeah, 20,000 is nothing. 20%.
20%.
So, just want to point that out. So, for your football budget, and most of these schools is, let's just say at Texas, it's $100 million. We're talking about a $20 million fine.
And requiring a school to reduce the number of roster spots by 5 for the next season. All right, let's stop there because there's other stuff happening there. Let's stop there. The first question, I saw Andy Staples bring it up, that the antitrust lawyers are just cracking their knuckles getting ready to sue.
Right. Because I want to say this first before you start. These are real penalties. Yeah. These are the kind of penalties that if they can make them work, will curtail this kind of activity.
Nobody would
you
do
get
it.
caught, anybody who cost their university a $20 million fine is getting fired.
And it's very easy to catch this, right? I mean, it's a player that goes from one roster to the next.
Exactly correct. If tomorrow, let's just pick somebody from Ole Miss, they end up at LSU. Because that's what Ole Miss fans would like to see that happen at this point. Because if these penalties were going to happen, yes, the next day you would be like, okay, LSU's in trouble.
Without a doubt.
Right.
The antitrust stuff is not as much about the school as it is about the individual player. Right? The schools can't sue for antitrust violations because they're the ones that are part of the NCAA. They would I think, as I understand it, maybe I'm off base, all this would take is one player to try to do it and then sue for it. But as we know, the legal process is kind of slow and painstaking, and it might not be worth it to go through all this for an individual player to try to transfer and then try to sue for it. And like that process is not worth it. I don't think anyway. I think the NCAA actually could do this, I guess is what I'm getting at. It's a long-winded way to say, for a period of time, for however long, this appears to be something that they can do and that they can enforce for a while.
I don't know how long, yeah. And the antitrust thing that Staples is talking about, probably we're getting closer to that. The idea that I had the other day is where you just going to have to sign a waiver, guys. If you want to play, you got to sign this waiver.
You sit down, you create a blanket agreement that is bargained for, and boom.
Can you imagine being, because I'm not trying to make a shot at Golding here. I'm really not. But like most of the time, this is going to be like an analyst, an assistant coach, an assistant coach, a staffer who's reaching out and handling this, right? Imagine being the staffer that costs your university 20% of their football budget and costs your head coach 6 games. I mean, you talk about fired for cause. You'll never work again. You get ready to learn insurance, buddy.
Yeah, and
you're never coming back from that.
This isn't tampering, though. It's actually getting a player to enroll in your school.
But it would be tampering because that guy has to. There had to have been tampering involved.
Yeah,
to get him interested in your school in the first place.
But this just won't happen.
Yeah,
it just won't happen.
If those are the penalties, if they can make those penalties stick, then they have curtailed this problem. Charles Huff's scenario is no more if they can, in fact, do this. Now, we're talking about the NCAA, and if we've learned anything over the last few years, that enforcing their rules is not the same as making their rules. They make the rules all the time. They don't enforce them as much. So we'll have to wait and see. But I'll tell you, I've said this for a long time. Like, if you really want to stop bad behavior, you got to make it painful.
Yeah.
I remember a few years ago when I guess it was after the 2018 Egg Bowl, and the SEC was talking about they wanted to do something with the Egg Bowl and to try to lower the volume on that game, right? And I was just like, the only way to do that is to make it hurt. Like, you got to be like, if there's a fight, there's a 5-year bowl ban for both teams. Like, you've got to do something outrageous. Otherwise, if you're talking about, when you talk about fining a multi-million-dollar industry $10,000, nobody cares.
I mean, hey, Dad, you brought up Golding. Let's pretend that the NCAA actually does something about that. I remain skeptical. I don't think anything's going to happen. But if it does, their current rules say it's a level 2 and he might miss a game. Even if they actually get to the point where they can punish the guy, if they actually get a paper trail and all that, if they can do all of that, which is a major if that I don't expect to happen, but if it does, what's the penalty? You missed the Charlotte game. It's nothing.
Yeah. And that's the other thing, it's not even you're going to miss the Louisville game because the NCAA has, with the Michigan,
they established precedent that
they
you can
have
pick
a precedent you can pick your game. So it might even be, it'll be the Charlotte game. It's again, if you want to stop, if most of us are parents, telling your kid, hey, don't do that. Don't do that. Oh, if you do that, you're going to have to go 30 minutes without your iPad. No, that's not how you stop bad behavior. You got to be like, I will take that iPad and I will pull out my hammer and that'll be that. And then you don't have to worry about it. I promise they'll get in line. That's the way the NCAA has to do these things. If you really and truly want to get back control, you're going to have to make, I've said this for a while, like, you got to make these punishments so over the top that no one would dare try. And if somebody gets caught, don't put yourself in a situation where you're like, well, this, that, the other. It's got to be like, you did that? Okay, guess what? We're shutting down your program for a year. How's that feel? Nobody's going to put a toe out of line but again, can the NCAA enforce this? That's the question that we don't know the answer to.
This seems like it could stick for a little while, but there's other stuff in
maybe
here.
6 months here.
There's some good stuff in here also about spring practice, week 0, stuff like that we'll get to when we come back. That's your college football fix driven by Ford and your local Mississippi Ford dealer. I'm Borkey. He's Hadad, by the way. It's Sports Talk Mississippi on this Wednesday. We'll be right back.
Here comes more Sports Talk Mississippi.
You ready, guys?
On SuperTalk Mississippi.
Bob in Gulfport says, so with such severe penalties for tampering, but that's not what this is. This is not penalizing the attempt to tampering. This would be penalizing taking a player out of the portal window and enrolling him in your school and bringing him to your roster. So if you're calling a player in April, that's not what this is penalizing. It's if that player goes to your school to play is what would trigger this, which, I mean, I guess in effect that is technically tampering, but the attempt would not be, because it's impossible to prove. It is so freaking hard to prove, even though we know everybody and their brother does it in one way, shape, or form.
Right.
But the NCAA's problem is they can't prove that it happens. They have no subpoena power. You can't prove it. So you give up trying to enforce the attempt.
Right.
And you punish the execution.
And then you've got to start telling people who are tampering have to tell the players they're tampering with, when you enter the portal, do not enter with do not contact.
Yeah, don't do that now.
Do not contact needs to go away. Go in there. If people contact you, that's fine. And hey, honestly, I've never understood going in with do not contact. Like, this is an open market.
Well, because they were on the open market. They've already been on the
Well, that's what I'm
market.
saying, though. Like,
you heard it from Micah Pettis' own mouth. It's the market's always open.
yeah, but when I see do not contact and I expect LSU to be a player here, right? Well, maybe somebody's like, oh, wait a minute, we could use that guy like that. What are they offering? Let's do more. So I think the do not contact needs to go away because that'll eliminate a lot of the thought process here, I think.
More from this article from Ross. More things that they are looking at is keeping the transfer portal window in January and giving schools the flexibility to move some spring practices to the summer. So having multiple off-season periods very similar to the NFL. So a spring, like post-draft OTA, and then a summer whatever before training camp. And then also allowing everybody to start the season in week 0 if they'd like in 2027. Some more details on that. The concept is related to changes around spring practice. It's a long-discussed move, proposal that started with the coaches, actually. The American Football Coaches Association. The coaches would receive an additional 6 contactless OTA-style practices likely to be held in May and June to go with their 15 spring practices. One version gives them the opportunity to spread out the 21 total practices from February to April or from May to June if they want. The change to week 0 has often been discussed as well. For now, the NCAA must grant a waiver for schools to start on week 0. The recommendation would eliminate the process, allowing schools, if they would like, to start on week 0 if they want. And by the way, everybody would, because it would then give you 2 bye weeks. And not one school in America would sign up for less time off than their opponents. So
right,
if they sign that, next year's week 1 will be week 0.
It will just be week. At that point, I think they just start calling it week 1.
Yes.
I think at that point, the week 0 moniker kind of goes away at that point.
Love that, though.
Yeah, I don't mind that at all. So, do you want to save this QB list for tomorrow, or do you want to do this?
Yeah, let's save it for tomorrow.
All right, because we've got it will be a controversial list here in the state of Mississippi, but we will do that on tomorrow's Sports Talk Mississippi. So did I misread the rundown today? I thought we had some more.
No, I forgot to change the headline.
Hold on, let me.
So in the body was right. I forgot to change the headline.
Okay.
See?
I see what you did.
Yeah.
Okay.
Although, I mean, NACO's did put a thing out there about tampering. And
I thought we had more stuff from NACO's.
No.
Okay. I was very confused about this for the past 25 minutes. I'm positive it said Pete NACO's on the rundown. I'm not an idiot. Most of the time.
No.
So, all right. I'm glad to know the idiot was you. No problem.
NACO's is his tampering story. Chose not to go through it today because you guys already know it. Everybody does it, and they get creative, and they do it in different ways, and it's widespread and rampant, and it's unchecked and unstopped.
Except at Clemson. Not happening there.
Hey, Dad, they do it there, too. It just may not be Dabo telling them to. But you think those staff members with their jobs on the line are not doing what needs to be done to get good players when they actually use the portal this time around? Maybe not. But
I don't know. Are you calling him a liar?
Yes.
Okay.
when a major college football coach talks, unfortunately, you should always question. Same thing with politicians, although we don't do that anymore. We don't question the politicians on our side anyway. We should question them all, but that's more for Mornings with Richard Cross.
Why would anybody question a politician? The most honest people there are.
But yeah. So, I mean, saw that from NACO's Reddit, and it was just kind of like, they already know that already. There's no surprises in this. Somebody says, yeah, it works. My son broke his sister's Amazon tablet the other night, picked it up and threw it on the ground, so I broke his because she wouldn't listen to him. Wait. Sorry.
Long story short.
Yeah.
Yeah, he broke his nephew, from what I can tell. Am I reading that right?
I think so.
His nephew broke his sister's Amazon tablet, and he was like, oh, yeah, watch this, and went from there.
Now nobody can have.
I once told my youngest that if she continued along this path, that not only would I was going to take her iPad, and it wasn't just that I was going to take it, I was going to delete everything on it and then make it my iPad, and she would have to sit there and watch me use it every day. I would make a point to use it every day in front of her. She stopped doing what I didn't want her to do at that point.
Man, YouTube Kids, you would think that that's safer. It's not.
It's not. It's
still awful. It's still just awful. This thing called Skibbity Toilet.
No.
And then another
Stop.
thing, there's a thing called Siren Head. Apparently, that's a thing now. The internet was a mistake. The show I'm watching called Paradise, the world got EMP'd. That would be good for us, I think.
Got an electromagnetic pulse and shut down all of the power across the world?
Yeah. I think that ultimately, at first it would be terrible, but the less technology we have, ultimately the better society would be.
Well,
you work on the hospitals first. You get the doctors back the tech they need.
Yeah.
Right? You get that up and running. And then basically everything else we can do on our own. And we'd be good to go. No more internet. Just get rid of the internet.
It's kind of funny, like the people who tell you that things were better back in the good old days would be the first ones to complain if we took away Facebook. That's where I get my news.
Buddy, Facebook Marketplace is that's where I doom scroll, is on Facebook.
Facebook Marketplace. I never look at Facebook Marketplace. Instagram Reels is my scrolling of choice. I don't do TikTok because I had a nasty experience there. So
you know what we could do?
What's that?
Read a book.
We could. That's the old doom scrolling. I'm just sitting there turning pages.
We could read a book, do something productive, clean the house. I'm with you though. I'm right there with you. I'm not being condescending. We are on the same boat. I keep telling myself I'm going to start reading this year.
I've told myself that like 2 or 3 times, and it's crazy. When I was a kid, I read all the time. I love to read. Once in the summer library program, I once read 45 books in a summer. Got like 3 free pizzas out of it. But nowadays, like I might read a cookbook, might get a recipe. That's about it.
We should make one.
We've been talking about that for a while, but we never, I get our buddy Robert St. John to talk us through the process of it. He's written like 8 of them. So,
and I'll just use AI to generate all the images of us on our various pages.
Exactly. You're like, me and you were like, look at this beautiful steak. And it's not actually real.
Put Gordon Ramsay's hair on your head.
Why wouldn't you take the blonde hair?
Because it would be funnier to see what you would look
like with
Gordon Ramsay's hair.
You should have Gordon Ramsay's hair. I'll have Marco Pierre White's hair, though. Out of control.
You donut.
You donkey. Exactly. That's what we need.
Man. Sports Talk Mississippi most of the time. Somebody says, I bought a book on New Year's Day. Haven't opened it yet. Brother, I feel you. I walked through Barnes & Noble like a month and a half ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I went to the section where like the Lord of the Rings type stuff is, because I like that. I like a break every now and then from sports. And I looked and I read some covers and stuff, just seeing. And I ended up walking out without buying anything. I was like, I know I'm not going to do this. Like, I was proud of myself for getting to this point, and then, you're lying to yourself. Don't gaslight yourself, Michael.
Yeah, don't do that.
We'll be right back.
From the Seabrook.
What do they want?
Exciting news.
Brace yourself.
More Sports Talk Mississippi. Now.
Michael Borkey, Brian Hadad, Sports Talk Mississippi. Somebody says that they want to see what you would look like with Troy Polamalu's hair.
Well, you know how to make that happen.
I do. I have made
I want to see it tomorrow.
And hair happen before.
I want to see it happen tomorrow. You just say, per our listeners' request, here you go.
Speaking of Pete Nakos, he put out what he calls intel.
We're going to be speaking of Troy Polamalu there for a second. Yes.
He apparently has compiled a list where everybody's going to start and end spring practices. I cannot believe that this is where we are learning of this first, to be honest with you, as opposed to the schools telling the local media, hey, we're going to do spring practice at this time, spring game or whatever at this time, and giving it to Nakos first, but whatever. Mississippi State, apparently they're going to start spring practice on March 17th.
So we had this on Thunder and Lightning, and I forgot the day. But some recruits were tweeting a graphic that State had sent them. And I'm just like, how are they getting this? 2028 kids are getting this, and they can't send this to the media? Like, what are we doing? Yes, I've heard that. Because we know the spring game will be April 25th, Super Bowl weekend.
Ole Miss will start on March 23rd, and it says spring game / camp ends on April 30th. April 30th is not a weekend. That is, I believe, a Thursday.
So State did that a few years ago, where they played the spring game and then had one more practice after that. Which, when you think about it, not the dumbest idea, not the worst idea. Like, have that game, have the film, and then have a practice to go over some things. I don't mind that idea.
And the weekend before, forgive me, guys, I'm yawning. I did not sleep well last night. So the 30th is a Thursday.
We all got our own problems.
The weekend before that is the double-decker Georgia baseball series, stuff like that. So, hey, Dad, I don't think that they're going to have a true spring game under Pete Golding. I don't think it'll look like that. Maybe I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong. I want to be wrong. I don't think that they will do that. I could see
Golding having a real game because of the mockery that Kiffin made of the spring game. He might just be like, we're getting back to business here.
But they need to do something. Whatever it looks like, not a hot dog eating contest. Have a practice in the stadium. Let fans come see you. And after you're done practicing, let the kids come down and meet the players. That is, to me, that has got to be a requirement for your team. And the freaking NFL makes their billion-dollar organizations and teams do that. If they can do that, so can you. That at least needs to come back, and I hope it does. And so here's your opportunity. Spring practice is coming. If you don't want to do a full-on game, that's fine. You got a lot of people in town that weekend, though. Have an open practice. Do something to let people come meet your new players, because you got a bunch of them, both high school players and also the transfer portal. Let the kids meet them. Let them go on the field. Do that stuff again. Bring that back. Because, I remember when I was a kid, the football game itself was not what drew me to Furman.
Right.
It was going to fan day.
Yeah.
And meeting the players. And then my dad, who was watching the games more intently than me when I was 7 years old, would point and say, hey, buddy, you met him. That's your buddy. You gave him a high five. That's what connects people to the sport, not just taking them to the game. So I hope that happens. Because I don't think that they're going to have a full-on spring game like the OG days, but we'll see. And maybe some open practices and stuff would help so we can see these aforementioned new players.
I hope that's the case. I'd like to. Now that the spring portal window is gone, and the whole excuse of, well, I don't want to put guys on film to get poached by the programs is gone, and now we're talking about the NCAA putting these ridiculous penalty. I don't want to say ridiculous. I actually agree with them. These stringent penalties in place to prevent post-spring poaching. There's no reason not to do this. And, for Ole Miss, it's one thing, right? The excitement level at Ole Miss is super high.
Yeah.
Right now. They're bringing back a bunch of players from a team that finished in the top 5 last year. They're going to be a preseason top 5 team. If they don't want to go that route, I can understand a little bit of that, right? State needs to drum up excitement. They need people excited about football. You got to do everything you can. And so I would like to see that happen.
Especially when you've got a bunch of people in town already. They're already there.
Exactly. Think about State's spring football weekend, right? It's Super Bowl all weekend. You got Mississippi State versus LSU, which should be at worst a top 10 matchup between those two teams, right? You got the Starkville Derby, huge event, brings thousands of people to town. Putting the spring game in the middle of that, heck, 15, 20,000 people will just go, hey, we're here. It's free. Let's just go.
Yeah.
And then you can show off and say, look at the crowd Mississippi State had for their spring game. Wow. Coming off of 3 straight losing seasons, excitement is high in Starkville. Just think it out, guys. I hope that's what they do. And look, that's coming from a guy that, quite honestly, I could take or leave from a professional standpoint. I don't really gain anything from the spring game. I've never walked out of there and had a really great feel of what I thought the upcoming season was going to look like. And when I half thought I had one, I ended up being wrong. So I don't really care if I have to go sit in Davis Wade Stadium on a random, April Saturday. But I think the fans would enjoy it.
I think so too. Somebody says, I still have my Coach O signed Ole Miss hat from spring day in 2007. It's kind of like a Civil War statue. Just keep it around to not repeat the past.
That's one of the funniest things we've read on this off the C Spire text line. Outstanding from Zach and Pearl. That really made me laugh.
Man, this is more off-season.
It's a picture, Coach O. Never again.
Never again.
I have one like that for Kroom.
We've been in the dark days.
Have I ever told you how I got in trouble about a picture of Sylvester Kroom?
No.
So I went, this was, Moorhead would have been the coach. I had to take my kids to a 4-H thing, and the local 4-H office had a picture of Sly Kroom up. And I tweeted it out. I was like, can we get these guys a new picture? Those guys have been the head coach here in 11 years. And apparently they got upset about it. So the next year I came back, the picture's still there, and I laughed. I didn't take a picture, but some woman came out of the office like, don't take a picture of that. Don't you do that again. I was like, first off, lady.
Yeah, back off.
I will if I want. Can't stop me. But secondly, I was like, it just doesn't make any sense. Guy's not the coach here anymore. So I got in some trouble about that. Spring games are all about the fans. They just want to see the players from the C Spire text line. You're right.
Yep.
Oh, somebody's got a Houston Nutt signed hat. Same thing there. Brother, keep me away.
Man, that would be, we need to
He's still in the circle of trust.
In the off-season.
What bad?
What's your worst piece of sports memorabilia that you have?
I don't have it anymore. I had a hat signed by Rocky Felker when I was in high school. And it was like a cyclist hat, too. Like, those hats they wear with, like, the brim that flips up?
Yeah.
That's what it was. It said Bulldogs. It's just a hat I would never wear under any circumstances nowadays.
Gosh, what would be mine? My worst piece of sports memorabilia. I got to think on that. That would be a really good one, though. I bet we'll get a whole lot of Hugh Freeze signed things submitted.
I mean, I'm looking. I got my office finally got it decorated. I'm looking at my signed. Were you here the day? You weren't here. Mm-mm. I got a signed Hugh Freeze poster hanging up right over there, courtesy of our good friend Gibb in Opelika. He sent me that. He blessed me with a picture of Hugh Freeze. It says War Eagle Hugh Freeze. I wish it said to Brian. I really wish it did. But it's sitting right over there in the corner.
Oh, man. Speaking of the internet being a mistake, I bet he regrets the internet being invented.
Oh, my God. This person has the Confederate flag signed by Tommy Tupperfield.
Oh,
now, where's what's funny about that? At the time, he was trying to get that flag out because it was hurting recruiting.
And he still
now, he would be like, that's the greatest flag of all time. Oh, I found a signed baseball from John Cohen the other day from him coaching, laughed and chunked it in the trash.
You should have kept it.
No, get it out of there. That thing's cursed.
Should have kept. Well, I mean, a national championship was won since you've been in possession of that.
That's true. Gibb is taking a victory lap over his gift to me.
It's so good.
As he should, though. It's hilarious. It was one of the my wife was like, "You want to hang this up?" I was like, "Absolutely, I do." And then the next day was the Instagram post. It's like, I did that.
Sports Talk Mississippi will wrap the show up with you next.
Our Sports Talk Mississippi now.
Troy and Georgia are tied in the 10th at 5. Arkansas barely held on to beat Arkansas State by 1-0.
They did throw a one-hitter. Pretty impressive. It looks like they gave up a hit in the first inning and then threw eight innings of no-hit ball after that. Pretty good pitching display for them.
And Arizona State's leading Oklahoma 3-2.
Should point out, too, by the way, on that Troy-Georgia game, Troy, top of the 11th, has a man in scoring position with one out. So.
Uh-oh.
And top of the order for them.
A few of your bad pieces of sports memorabilia. Somebody has an O.J. Simpson hero card signed in the 80s. You could honestly, because the internet's a scary place, I bet you could get a lot of money for that. I bet you could. I think that if you want to part with that, I bet you could make some mortgage payments with your signed O.J. Simpson card.
Yes, you could absolutely. I have a friend that went to grade school with Britney Spears, and I was always like, sell the yearbook. Some freak will buy it.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, even if you only get a few $100s, it's a few $100s.
Yeah.
Why not?
Somebody says, my dad went to an alumni event, got a picture with Ben Howland, Vic Schaefer, Joe Moorhead, and Chris Lamonis. It's still hanging in his office.
That's a tough one.
Man. Have no idea what to do with my autographed Croom football? Keep it. Just keep it. Hang it up in your office,
I had no idea. No clue whatsoever. But somebody says they have a signed copy of Jerry Sandusky's biography, which is entitled Touched.
No.
I looked it up. That is actually the title of his biography.
Oh, man.
That's horrific. How on earth? No, please, he said send a pic. Please don't.
No.
I don't want to see. I want nothing to do with that.
Dwight says it's kind of crazy how the two coaches who led state baseball to the national championship series are despised by the fan base, and two that didn't are loved, or haven't yet, meaning Polk and O'Connor, are loved currently.
I don't know that despised is the right word for Lemonis.
In 5 years, he'll come back and
I think about that sometimes. Like in 2031, when they do like a 10-year reunion of the national champions, he would get I think he would get a warm ovation.
He'll walk around the stadium and everybody will shake his hand and say, "Hey, coach, thank you."
Yeah, I agree with that.
My grandma's a Florida alum, and she has a Will Muschamp signed football that the Alumni Association sent her. It's back into coaching. Somebody has a Cannizzaro bobblehead. Oh, that's funny.
That is funny.
Somebody says, a friend of mine gave me a Hugh Freeze autographed Ole Miss football for Christmas last year.
Were they not a big sports fan? I don't know the answer.
No, that's a really good one.
God, the Howland, Schaefer, Moorhead, Lemonis one is just funny. None of those guys are staying.
Somebody says, not a Mississippi team, but I have an autographed photo of I have autographed photos of the Philadelphia Eagles cheerleaders when they came to the Hattiesburg Mall in the 90s.
That's a great one. Keep that one.
What were the Eagles cheerleaders doing at the Hattiesburg Mall? That's so random.
That is very random. I don't know the answer to that. That's a good question. Oh, so somebody said, Matt from Summerall, who was telling us about the Hugh Freeze autograph ball, the friend was a State fan. That's okay. That's a good gag gift. That's a good gag gift.
It's a great present.
I'm going to get Richard a Freeze cameo for Christmas this year. I'm sure Freeze is doing them.
Oh, could you imagine the prompts that he gets that have to be rejected?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, mine would not be rejected at all. Mine would just be like, my friend Richard's a huge Ole Miss fan. He loved you when you were there. He wished you had never left. You know, all this. I would make it as ridiculous as I could.
I'm still caught up on the Eagles cheerleaders being in the Hattiesburg Mall thing.
We do need more information on why the Philadelphia Eagles cheerleaders came to Hattiesburg.
Love Hattiesburg.
Maybe were they playing the Saints? Maybe and they
stopped on the way there.
Well, that doesn't make sense. They wouldn't have driven a bus. But I'm just thinking like they were in the area and they were like, hey, but that's not it either because cheerleaders don't travel in pro football.
No.
So maybe they had a thing where you could just bring them down for events. You think the Saints would have been a better choice there? Bring the Saintsations. I don't know.
I need an oral history of why the Eagles cheerleaders.
I need to know more. Yeah. Grand opening of a Foot Locker, perhaps.
But still,
it's random. It's very random.
What is not random
is the Eagles the most random team?
Yes.
If I said the Chargers, would that have been better or worse?
What would have been the most random team?
In Hattiesburg?
In Hattiesburg.
The Seahawks.
Or the Bills.
No, because the Bills, Kent Hall, had some Mississippi stuff there. Yeah.
The Jaguars.
Yeah, well, I mean, when was this? The Jaguars might not even existed.
Hey, Dad will exist for another hour after the news. Thunder and Lightning coming your way next. Stick around for that. I'll see you guys tomorrow at 3. Good night.
SuperTalk Mississippi Media Production.